Welcome, everyone. How's everyone tonight? Going live kind of late today. So go ahead and grab some tea. We're going to have a little bit of energy readings, and then we're going to do a little bit of what is going on with the lunar eclipse that is coming up. And then we're going to talk about ways to harness that energy. So let me check all of the social media and make sure we are going live in the right place. So let's see. So while I'm doing that, go grab something to drink, settle in, quiet your mind, and just be present in the moment as I make sure that we are streaming in the live event. Let me see. It's a little bit slow today, so good. I think we are good. Make sure I have you pulled up so I can see comments because Facebook is a little bit slow sometimes. But I think we have everyone here. So, welcome everyone. How is your week going so far? Super busy. So I usually go live on Wednesdays, but I felt that I needed to go live today. Since the lunar eclipse is coming up, full moon is coming up. And so I thought that today would be a good day to go live and see what kind of energy is happening with us and how we can harness that energy. So if you dropped in, please say hello. Tell me where you're from. I would love to know where you are from. I am in Austin, Texas, so we're expecting some major storms to come in. So we're excited about that. So while you are here, drop in where you're from. Please say hello. So when you come in, I can give you a live shout out to everyone who comes on in. So, Madam Z here. Let me do a quick introduction. And I am your Magickal Life coach and female empowerment leader through magic. So I teach women how to empower themselves through magic. And my tagline is magic, empowerment, and transformation. And let me check up comments. I think we're good with comments. So, how is everyone today? Are you guys getting ready for the full moon and the eclipse tomorrow? I'm going to talk about what we can do to harness that energy, how we can ride that emotional wave because it is in Cancer tomorrow, and how we can actually do some things, some energy, some tasks, and a little bit of a meditation today, maybe a little bit of a little ritual to harness that kind of energy. So let's talk about the lunar eclipse first. And that's going to be happening tomorrow. So let's talk about a little bit about the energies of that lunar eclipse, and then we'll get into the full moon energy. Okay. So if you have time to take notes, please take notes. If you're listening and cooking dinner, feel free to put this on and just cook your dinner and have just me listening and talking in the background. I don't see any comments yet, so let's see. Here's one. Oh yeah, hey Aarona Lea, how are you? I'm so glad to connect with you last Sunday. Yay! So glad that you caught me live. Thank you for being here. So let's talk a little bit about the lunar eclipse in Cancer. The full moon is going to be in Cancer. The lunar eclipse is going to be in Cancer. So if we have any water babies, that is in the zodiac and that is your water sign, this is your time to shine. You're going to be feeling really energetic. This is going to be your time. I am a Taurus earth sign, so this is going to be emotional time for me. So this is a time to really just dig deep into your emotions. So let's talk about the lunar eclipse and the energy that's going on with that. So the first lunar eclipse is really the promise to be really potent in this time of year. Okay, the lunar eclipse influences our internal world because it has to do with Cancer and emotions. It has to do with water signs. It's a lot of internal stuff that's coming up for you. They are periods where there are experiencing massive changes within yourself that will later steep into your outer realities. So it's about ebb and flow. It's about inward and outward during this eclipse. It is time where we are meant to explore and inquire within at what is ready for us to up level. 2020 is going to be huge, and this is a great time to really think about what you want to do for the next, 365 days, well, a little bit less than 365 days, or what you want to manifest in 2020, and what steps you're going to take to change that, and what do you want to embrace. It even seems a little bit contrary to what we should be feeling or experiencing in our waking lives. So you may have like a walking contradictory, right? A walking kind of feeling of what you're portraying on the outside and what you're feeling on the inside, maybe two totally different things that's coming up for you. It's going to be a ripple effect, what you start now, and should ripple down for the next 6 months. That's why it's important to harness this lunar energy, this lunar eclipse energy, and the full moon energy of setting intentions and what is working with you and what is coming up for you, because it's going to ripple down for the next 6 months past the eclipse season. So while it may seem that significant that you are working through and are experiencing emotionally at this time, I want you to be under no illusion that these changes will be far-reaching. So that's why it's important that we set intentions today or tomorrow and really work with the energies that are coming up for you, because we want to work through those energies for the next 6 months, because that's when it's going to start, manifesting and working. The eclipse will be occurring in about 20 degrees Cancer. So if you guys are astrology people, that's in your chart, you're going to be really feeling that. Okay. Let's see. Any other comments? Hey, Shelly, driving and listening. Yay. So glad. And Shelly's a Cancer sign. So yeah, this is your time. This is when you're going to be really feeling it. This is when you're going to be really energetic. You're probably going to have some emotions come up. This may be where you just want to spend time in, some body of water. So this is definitely my Cancer baby's time. So this is when you're going to feel the most energetic, and you're going to be lively and having fun and doing all kinds of cool things, because this is definitely your time for sure. Let's see. So what kind of emotions and what kind of things are coming up for you for the not the full moon, because we haven't talked about the full moon yet, about the lunar eclipse. So because Cancer has to do with home, hearth, family, emotions, this is what will naturally highlight themes of, which is going to be the home, the roles within the home, like caretaking, mothering, being the breadwinner, emotions. The goddess of home is going to be Hestia. So if you want to work with a goddess for the lunar eclipse, work with Hestia. And it is a good time to actually work with wounds that have occurred around the areas of caretaking, mothering, being the breadwinner, kind of hearth and home. It is the opposite of the sun directly across in 20 degrees. And we talked about 20 degrees being, a little bit in your astrological sign. So if you ever had your astrological or your chart done, then you need to get that out and look at what's in your Capricorn, or your, what's going on in your water sign. So Capricorn is going to be creating tension. So if you have a spouse, if you have a best friend or a mother or someone in your life that is close to you that is a Capricorn, you guys are going to be butting heads this time. So just chalk it up as, hey, it's a lunar eclipse. That's what's supposed to be happening, because it's total opposite of what's going on. So just chill out. Don't be an emotional wreck about it. Don't make any emotional decisions about it. Just know that that's what's going to be going on, as you guys are going to be butting heads. Lots of tension between you two, especially between you and your mother, okay, or your mother role. So let's see. let me check on my notes. Let me check on comments. Mariah's here. Hey, Mariah. So this is a time you're going to have some conflict with families, and some memories are going to be coming up. Foundations and financial security is going to be coming up for you, and that you're leaving that. Okay. This will be pulling you to try new ways to create balance between the two. Okay. It almost reminds me of like the Two of Pentacles, where you're always trying to keep balance, or the Temperance card, where you're always trying to keep balance. And it also is going to feel like it's a little bit impossible, because we're dealing with our emotions, with the emotional, we all know that everybody has crazy emotions during the lunar eclipse and the full moon. So it's going to be cray cray, and it's going to feel like we're a little bit bipolar and a little bit crazy, but just know that it really is having to do with the energies of the lunar eclipse and the full moon. But we're going to be coming up with a lot of wound healing that needs to come up, a lot of emotions that needs to be come up that you may have suppressed that are coming up, and you're like, why is this coming up now? Well, it's because of the energy that's coming up. I want you to really go deep into contemplating these themes: the house, the hearth, the mothering, the caretaking, the breadwinner. What's the guilt that you have, about leaving your family and going to work every day? That kind of stuff's going to be coming up for you. This is the emotional filter that will be processing our life's events through the next 6 months. So that's why it's important to clear out any of that wound stuff that's coming up for you probably tomorrow when you do a little ritual, and why it's important to clear energy, to cut cords if you need to, or to actually just realize, oh, this is a deep wound that I need to work on for the next 6 months. So something's coming up for you that has to do with feminine roles, emotional roles, caregiver, motherhood, wound, grandmother lineage, anything along the feminine lines. Then this is a time for you to acknowledge that and to release any of the emotional, any of the negative attachments that come along with that. So it is important that we do that because it's going to last the next 6 months. So you may be working on this for the next 6 months. So let me catch up on comments. So does anybody think that they are going to be an emotional wreck tomorrow with the full moon and the eclipse coming up? It's going to be a little bit tough. Raise your hands if you feel that you're going to have some emotional stuff coming up. A little bit of lag. So I'm waiting for it to catch up. Does anybody have any rituals or anything that they plan on doing for the full moon or the lunar eclipse? And while you're typing that in, I want to give you some suggestions on what you can do. Because if you're in Austin, Texas, or anywhere near me, it is a great time for you to actually try to collect lunar rain, storm, water. Because we're going to have some crazy storms coming in. It's going to be time for you to collect that energy of that storm that's going to be blessed with the lunar eclipse and the full moon. You want to work that in your spell casting, which is going to be used for doing healing around emotions, letting go of things, emotional healing, self-healing, and outward and inward healing. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. So make sure you put your crystals out. Gather moon water if you can. And if you're in the Austin area, make sure you gather storm, lunar, full moon water. That's like a triple whammy, right? And Aarona Lea says, sometimes I set out my crystals under the full moon. Yes, set them out under the full moon. If you can't set them out because I know it's going to be raining, put them in a windowsill. Collect your moon water. Collect your rainwater. And if it's not raining, get some spring water or some tap water, put a crystal in it, put it out in the full moon, charge it under the lunar moon and lunar eclipse and the full moon. And any divination tools that you feel that you need to be cleansed, consecrate, release some of that energy, do a releasing kind of ritual if you need to. It's a great time to actually do some emotional healing. Okay. And Shelly said, yes, it's raining right now. Is it too soon to collect? No, because the energy is still there. It's not going to be in full effect until tomorrow. Let's see what time. If I can figure out what time it is. See if I can get the exact time. I don't think it has the exact time on it. Well, this one is 2:44 in the morning tomorrow. So maybe around that time. It doesn't give me an exact time for the lunar eclipse. No, it doesn't give me an exact time. So around 2:44 in the morning. So I would start collecting it now. I usually try to do it before and then just forget it and let it sit under the sun or the moon for the full cycle. Okay. So I would collect it now or start collecting, especially when it's raining. I know it's going to be raining like crazy tomorrow, but if you can't get out tomorrow, make sure you collect it when you can and put it out there for the charging of the full moon and the new moon and full moon and that eclipse and bring that together. All right, so let's look at the full moon. Do we have any full moon babies in the house? I am loving the full moon. I am mostly attracted to the full moon. So this is when I love doing my full moon workings. Now, the full moon is going to be tomorrow. And the eclipse is tomorrow too, so we got some cool stuff tomorrow. So excited. So what kind of energy does the full moon really embrace and what we need to work with? Okay. It is really great to work with like-minded, supportive women. Because don't forget, we're still in Cancer, right? We're still in the lunar eclipse, the water sign of Cancer. So it's also always about circles and women energy and women collective. So celebrate your wins, no matter how small they are tomorrow. Reassessing your vision and focus, mindset work, continuing to work on your remaining tasks. So it's really about focus, emotional stability as much as you can, and really just getting to the point where you need to release some things with the lunar eclipse coming up. It is about harmony for the full moon. Remember we talked about emotions and how it's a little bit wonky and you're going to try to balance it, right? It's all about trying to keep your whole life in balance and in harmony. So it's going to be strong energy for trying to like juggle some things. Keep moving forward, right? This is a phase for active, integrative energy and feelings of expectations of the flowering of your goals. Remember, we set our intentions like January 1st. Some people do January 1st goals. I don't really believe in that, but some people still do. So it's you're about what, 9 days in from your goal, or you're 9 days in from your intentions. You probably want to check in and see where you're at for this full moon and what emotional stuff is coming up from that kind of goal that you set for your New Year's goal. Because when you're setting New Year's goal, it's not like, oh, I'm going to continue being happy most of the time. Most of the time it's like trying to break a bad habit. And when you're trying to break a bad habit, you still have to deal with emotions that come up for you. So this is a good time to really evaluate the emotions behind your bad habits, the emotions behind what's coming up for that. So cool things are coming up tomorrow for sure. So does anybody have any like rituals or anything that they want to do during the full moon, or any questions about the full moon or the lunar eclipse or anything that's coming up before we actually talk about some rituals that we're going to do? Type them in the comments. Just waiting on comments to come up. See how things are going with everyone. So today we're going to talk about, since it's all about emotions, right? It's about trying to balance the inward and the outward, trying to really heal some wounds that might be coming up for you. That's attached to, a feminine kind of energy, a feminine kind of archetype, kind of, or a mother type of wound, or grandmother or female lineage kind of wound that's coming up for you. So the card that I picked for us today is about worth. And Mariah said that she's doing a full drawing down the moon ceremony. Awesome. I love that. Lots of energy when you're doing a drawing down the moon ritual for sure. Mariah, need all the energy. Yes, we need all the energy. I know what you mean. Especially, I'm still feeling kind of blah from the holidays still. I haven't really recovered energetically from that. It's taken me longer than normal. Usually I'm like, back in the swing of things. But I think with the lunar eclipse and the full moon, those combined will really get me into snapping out of it and really getting into some energy. So I'm still not recovered from, and I'm sure a lot of us are still like feeling a little bit like drained, right? Still from the holidays and the hustle and bustle. So today we are going to look at the card that I picked for us, which is about worth, right? It's about freeing yourself from critical thoughts toward my body and my worth. Because remember, it's about emotions, and it's about worthiness, and it's about where you got your self-worth from. And all the negative things, negative talk that may have been told to you or that you believe, we are now going to release those. So let's talk a little bit about the card. So we are perfect and flawed all at once. To deny this is to deny the experience of being fully alive. Although we all share the truth, we tend to be hardest on ourselves and may have developed a fierce inner circle. Or inner critic, I'm sorry. This voice has power. Do not banish it. Instead, teach this voice to be more uplifting and supportive. Notice when negative thoughts sneak in and choose to think differently. As you free yourself from unhealthy thought patterns, tune into what your real needs are. Recognize your desire to be loved and know that you're worthy beyond measure. Like any devoted practice, the retraining of your mental habits craves consistency. Continue showing up for yourself with kindness and with compassion. Your inner critic is always to transform into a more loving and productive voice in your life. Your inner voice is ready. I love that one. So does anybody have any problems with their inner voice or self-sabotaging talk or negative thinking, unhealthy thought patterns? Does anybody really have problems with that? Because this is the time when you want to release that energy, especially when the emotional attachment to it. It's going to be time for you to really write that on a piece of paper, burn it, do some cord cutting, cut it up if you need to, sacrifice it, release it. So type in the comments if you guys are still having any issues with self-sabotaging talks, your inner critic kind of thing keeps coming up. Shelly said, finding your voice. I try not to have those negative thoughts. And the thing is with those, we're still trying to reprogram our brain, or, even the lineage tie that's passed down from us, that's not ours, that we still have to deal with, what our parents taught us, what our parents said to us. It's like a lifelong of like reprogramming. So every time it comes up for you, at least you're realizing it and you say, no, not today. I'm not going to listen to your inner critic. That's not the truth. That's not the reality of it. And you're just going to like, thank you for keeping me safe at that time. But now I release you and it's time for me to manifest my most magical life, right? Yeah. So acknowledge it, but thank it because it was there to keep you protected for some reason at that time. And now since you're moving forward, it is time to release it. But make sure you thank it and release it, because every aspect of your life and your thoughts had something to do with molding you as a person, and keeping us safe at that moment when we needed it. But now we no longer need it. So we need to release that energy. So I want us to do a small little ritual. So if you can, I want you to kind of get in the mindset of being in a sacred ritual space if you can. If you're driving, please don't. You can always come back and watch the replay. And this is one that I really want you to do during this eclipse and this full moon eclipse. So if you need to come back and rewatch it and do it under the full moon or do it under the eclipse energy, please feel free to do it. Okay. So we're going to be doing a Kali Mudra kind of empowerment ritual. Okay. This mudra directs energy from the root up to the crown. So the root chakra all the way up to the crown chakra. Because remember, we talked about balance. We talked about releasing. We talked about getting the gunk out of our thoughts and our mind. And we're trying to work every energy through this through the chakra system to get that realigned. Kali, which I love Kali. Kali is the goddess of transformation and shows up when it's time to transform into a more honest version of oneself. This exercise also helps dissolve blocks, because we're going to be working with emotional blocks, right? Or thought patterns that may be dimming your glow. So if you can, I want you to sit a little bit. Take a couple deep breaths before we actually start the ritual. I want you to close your eyes. Deep breaths. By the count of 3. Inhale and hold. And exhale to the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Release your shoulders. I want you to envision the goddess of Kali all around you, embracing you with all of her hands and all of her arms, cutting the cords of things that no longer need us, transforming you into the goddess that you are meant to be. Releasing you from the bondage of things that have no longer kept you from soaring to your highest potential. Releasing you from negative thought patterns, releasing you from your inner critic, so that you may become one with your higher self. And now I want you to stand up and stand tall with your feet hip distance apart and parallel. I want you to stand grounded firmly and evenly, and dig your heels and legs and feeling the earth beneath you. So you're standing tall, you're planted, you're rooted, you are safe, and you're completely grounded and in tune with Mother Nature. Mom Gaia, the goddess of them all. Now I want you to extend your arms straight up and interlace your fingers into a fist above your head. Reach just your pointer fingers upward, keeping your other fingers laced together and your elbows tight. So it will be like this. So it will look like this. And you're going to raise them straight up. So it'll be like that. Hold this posture steady for 3 to 11 minutes, and you can play some meditation music. You can do some positive affirmations if you need to. You can do a releasing ceremony if you need to. You can speak what you want to release during this 3 to 11 minutes. And while you're doing this, I want you to deepen your breath, soften your jaw, feel yourself simultaneously ground and expand, like breathing in and breathing out. You can feel your aura coming in close and expanding outward, and breathing in and out like a living being. Clear anything that clouds your connection, any negative thoughts, anything that is going through your mind that you feel that you need to do, like dishes, tasks. You need to take care of this, you need to do that. It all needs to be cleared out. And I want you to repeat the mantra. I free myself from critical thoughts towards my body and my worth. I free myself from critical thoughts towards my body and my worth. I free myself from critical thoughts towards my body and my worth. And repeat this at least 3 times as you hold this stance, as you stand up tall, as you're ready to receive, and as we feel that energy moving and flowing through the chakra systems. And when you are ready to release, I want you to slowly release and float your arms downward, shaking it out if you need to. And feeling into the energy that is the lunar eclipse and the full moon. Journal your thoughts if you need to. Journal any energies that came up, any messages, any symbols, any colors, any smells, anything that has come up for you. I want you to spend that time journaling. Hi, Heather. Thanks for being here live. So that concludes the energy of the full moon and the lunar eclipse in Cancer. Does anybody have any questions or any suggestions, or do they need any help or guidance? Type those in the comments for me. It's a little bit of a lag, so that's a wonderful mantra to do. It's a wonderful pose to receive messages, to stand tall in who you are, be grounded, be firm, be focused. The energy is going to be insane for you when you try to go through these emotions. You try to weave in and out of what is coming up for you. So I don't see any, oh, here's one. Aarona Lea, when should this ritual be done, during the full moon or eclipse? I'm a full moon, but it really depends on what you want to do. The full moon and the eclipse is going to be happening tomorrow. So, it's really up to you and what you want to do. So how does it feel for you? Do you want to work with the full moon, or you can incorporate both of it since it's happening at the same time, right? So however you feel that is you're most drawn to, that is the energy that you're going to be working with. For me, I love full moons, so I'll be working with the full moon energy. Does anybody else have any comments? Yep, Aarona Lea is full moon, for sure. So Aarona Lea's feeling the full moon, so she's going to be working with the full moon energy, which is going to be about standing tall, right? I love it. So you guys have some ideas and some examples on how to kind of do a small ritual on, getting rid of sabotaging thoughts, especially against you and your body and what your self-worth is, because a lot of it's going to have to do with emotions. So, Shelley, what was the first goddess you mentioned? Kali. Kali. She's a Hindu goddess of transformation. Now, she looks super, super scary. Let me see if I can get a picture of her. But don't be afraid of how she looks, because she is very powerful. Let's see if I can get that link. About transformation. And if you click on that link right there, it should give you a picture of what Kali looks like. But she looks kind of scary, but she's really about transformation. And all of the symbols that she's holding in her hands are symbols that you need to transform yourself. You know, the sword is about cutting cords, right? And the head is about taking control of your demons, right? And not letting it serve you anymore. So it's very symbolic of what she is doing and what you need to cut and what you need to transform in your life to actually be this powerful goddess. So she looks a little bit scary, but she's a beautiful goddess to work with. And let's see if I can find another one that's a little bit gentler. Little bit gentler. Let's do this one. Maybe this one would work. That might work. There you go. And one thing that you can do too, if you want to work with Kali during, you know, the full moon and the lunar eclipse, since it's about emotional transformation, you can find a picture of her, print it out, put it on your altar, read up about her and what she really means and what she stands for and what kind of energy you can embody with her, and work with her for the full. I usually tell my clients to work with the goddess for at least 30 days or the full moon cycle. And that way you'll get to know the energies of this goddess and what you need to transform. Okay. So, yep, Kali, Kali. So, any other questions before we close out? Before we move on to something else? No, nothing? No? All right. Well, happy full moon and lunar eclipse tomorrow, my lovelies. Make sure you post pictures if you can, or at least to send me some. If you have any questions, send me a message, instant message me, or send me a message on this page. I will get it and I will respond to you if you have any questions or if you need any guidance during this emotional kind of transition and releasing of things. So thank you for joining me live. If you're watching the replay, hit #replay and I'll give you some replay love. Happy full moon, babies, and we will see you later on. Thank you. And blessed be.